The Moorish Rudder and Sextant. Legal Discourse or Fatwa. Read by Hakeem Bey. HakeemBey.com. Introduction. The Rudder and Sextant began as an idea to translate the titles and positions of the administration that we function under into our cultural customs or holy names. The project began with the revelation of the rudder of the Moorish coat of arms on the 12th of February 1986, progressed into its research stages, and was completed with the publication of the Rudder and Sextant, a legal blueprint on the subjects of Islamic government and Moorish heraldry. Completed on December 23, 1987, it was a 22-month project which has been completed in time for the new administration. Its author was born in the year the Moorish law was revealed. We hope this little book becomes an inspiration for both initiates and the doctors of the law. I am Brother Bashidi A. Malik L., a free Moor. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. 2. The Great Seal National Association for Moorish Affairs and the citizens of the Moorish nation. Greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His blessings. From Brother Bashidi Abdul Malik L., Khatib, publisher, and a free Moorish master astrologer. Subject: Al-Fatwatul Al-Dafawa Azawiya Likayasitum Mina Makribiyun Rida Unul Dira'un, or the legal discourse of the rudder and the sextant of the Moorish coat of arms. Article 1. Concept. This is the rudder and the sextant of the Moorish coat of arms for the Order of Islam, North Gate. It's a navigation blueprint for an Islamic government based upon your 12 signs of the Zodiac Moorish Constitution Law, Fatwa, and Islamic cultural customs. It can be scaled so that the Moors can establish a mechanism by which to operate the ship of state, al-Safinatum Minal Wilayatun, be it on the level of association, organization, community, province, or state. Al-Dafa, the rudder. Al-Dafa, the rudder, or helm, is that body of officers formed to administer and implement all services and procedures from the government to the people. This instrument of government acts as the oar or tiller, al-Majzaf. Thus, it is a mechanism with which to steer the ship of state through its activities. Azawiya Likayasitum, the sextant. The sextant, Azawiya Likayasitun, or the angle with measurement, in its literal form, is a navigational instrument used to measure the altitudes of celestial bodies. It has an arc graduated in sixth of a circle. Thus, in its conceptual use, it is the form of Moorish government, sextant, that the body of officers, rudder, shall take in order to act as a medium for the coordination, regulation, and the delivery of services from the government to the people. It is taken from the Latin word sextus, a sixth. Article 2. Key and Rudiment in the Law. Sheikh Hakeem Bey, our Moorish lawgiver and first Caliph of the resurrected Moorish nation, begins in the Zodiac Constitution with the 12 signs of the Zodiac and the code of mathematics scaling from 0 to 9, and the science of geometry comprise the constitution of the living Moorish nation of North America, referred to as Negroes, who ruled the world in the 7 seas by the 12 signs of the Zodiac and the science of geometry for 1196 years. It is also stated that the term Moor means navigator of the 7 seas. Thus, all forms of Moorish government must be scaled according to the 12 signs of the Zodiac, or mathematics scaling from 0 to 9, or the science of geometry, or the science of navigation, in order to truly be a Moorish form of government. The Great Seal federal government, upon scrutiny and examination, is based upon the science of geometry, forming the geometric shape of a triangle: executive, legislative, judicial, and therefore it definitely can be said that it is a Moorish form of government. However, the government functions according to slave master concepts and assumes and maintains a de facto posture. Therefore, a transition into our cultural concepts and customs is definitely in order. Our bylaws by which we function confirm this, in that they enjoin us thusly: all brothers and sisters are to promote Moorish arts and culture, including Moorish dress and social customs. Act 5. Now, in the concept comprise the constitution of the living Moorish nation. The word living implies activation of your laws and symbols and implementation of your cultural customs. Not to do so is to bring upon oneself the properties of stagnation and death. Thus, the key to the Moorish form of government lies in the term ruled by wisdom and moral intelligence, and based upon the zodiac constitution and the principles of navigation and geometry have we fashioned this Rudder and Sextant discourse. Now, the doctors of Moorish law may take it and implement it into our societies. The Moorish nation, al-wilayatun min al-maqribiyun, the nation of the Moors. Moorish cardinal principles: 1. Love, hibu. 2. Truth, haq. 3. Peace, salam. 4. Freedom, huriyatun. 5. Justice, adl. Order of Islam, North Gate. Al-Dafa, the Rudder. Second revision, March 1st, 1989. Chart number 1. Title: A. Nabi. Transliteration: Prophet. Interpretation: Revelator. Color: white. 9. Title: B. Khalifah. Transliteration: Vice-Regent. Interpretation: Enlightener. Color: opal. 9. Title: A. Sultan. Transliteration: Ruler. Interpretation: Activator. Color: charcoal. 8. Title: B. Hajib. Transliteration: Keeper of the Door. Interpretation: Awakener. Color: gray. 8. Title: Amir. Transliteration: Commander. Interpretation: Leader. Color: purple. 7. Title: Sayaraha wa Katib al-Majlis. Transliteration: Pilot and Speaker of the Parliament. Interpretation: Navigator. Color: blue. 6. Title: Qazi. Transliteration: Magistrate. Interpretation: Executor. Color: green. 5. Title: Wazir al-Rais. Transliteration: Prime Minister. Interpretation: Spokesman. Color: yellow. 4. Title: Sutra. Transliteration: Shield. Interpretation: Protector. Color: orange. 3. Title: Sharif. Transliteration: Nobleman. Interpretation: Enforcer. Color: lime. 2. Title: Rasm. Transliteration: Recorder. Interpretation: Keeper. Color: turquoise. 1. Title: A. Mufti. Transliteration: Man at Arms. Interpretation, troop. Color, black, 0. Title, B. Wazir. Transliteration, minister. Interpretation, implementer. Color, red, 0. Title, C. Wali. Transliteration, advisor. Interpretation, investigator. Color, red, 0. Article 3. Definitions. 1. Nabi. A prophet, one who has received direct inspiration to the mind or by the divine impression upon the heart. Rasul. A messenger, or one who has received a book or inspiration to transmit it to the people. 2. Khalifah. From Khalif, to leave behind, a successor, a lieutenant, a vice-regent, or a deputy. It is the title given to the successor to the prophet, who is vested with the power of authority in matters of state so long as he rules in conformity with the law. 3. Sultan. A word used for ruler or king. Its literal meaning is strength or might. 4. Hajib. Keeper of the door. 5. Amir. A ruler, a commander, a chief, or nobleman. It includes the various high offices in a Muslim state. 6. Sayaraha. To move, to start on a journey, a pilot or navigator. 7. Qazi. A magistrate or chief judge, elected by the people or appointed by the ruler of the state. The office must be held by one who is an adult, a free Moor, a Muslim, a sane Moor, and unconvicted of slander. Qazif. It is befitting that a Moor not covet the position of Qazi. The Qazi must exercise the office in a place where the public has access. She or he must not accept gifts, except from relatives and old friends. A woman may exercise the office of Qazi except in the administration of punishment, had, or retaliation, qisas. 8. Wazir al-Rais. The first, the prime, or most prominent. Wazir al-Rais, the prime minister, or one who bears the responsibilities of administration of government. 9. Sutra is the sergeant-at-arms of the Majlis, Parliament. He bears the duty of protecting the Sultan and the Council of Elders, as well as the flag, talismans, and all vestments of power. He is the executive officer of a select company of Mufti, chosen to function as the Hujratul Harisun, chamber guardians. 10. Sharif. Executive officer of the Mushraf police and head Mufti of the training academy. He carries out the decisions of the Qazi, has investigative powers, and is responsible for the general public safety. 11. Rasm. Recorder, keeper. 12. Mufti. The officer who executes the law. 13. Wazir. A vizier. The principal minister in an Islamic society. There are 3 views concerning the etymology of the word. A. Some derive it from wazir, a burden, because the wazir bears the burden of the state. B. Others take it from wazar, a refuge, because the ruler has recourse to the counsels of the wazir. C. Lastly, from azr, the back, or strength, because the ruler is strengthened by his wazir, as the human frame is strengthened by the back. The post of wazir was sometimes occupied by the officer of the pen and sometimes by an officer of the mushraf. 14. Wali, an advisor, a counselor, commissioned and placed in charge thereof. Article 4. Transliteration of Roles. Section A. 1. Prophet. Prophet, divinely inspired and chosen by Almighty Allah to uplift fallen humanity, and to act as a bearer of glad tidings to the people, as well as a revelator of light. This position cannot be occupied by just anyone, nor can anyone be elected or appointed to it. 2. Caliph. Caliph. He is the successor to the Prophet, and is either nominated by the Prophet or selected by a Grand Council of Sultans. There is only one who occupies this position, and the Moors must not allow the arising of a second. A Grand Sultan can perform the functions and duties of Caliph. A. He should express the right of title by making claim. B. He should be supported by the populace. C. There should be a ratification by the learned elders. D. He should be nominated on the demise of the Prophet or his predecessor. E. He shall be a protector of al-amrat, the sacred relics. 3. Sultan. Sultan, ruler of the people and mundane head of state, who is elected directly by the people. He governs according to Moorish law and cultural customs, and by these ordinances laid out by the Prophet and the Caliph. He has power and authority derived from the Zodiac Constitution, and his commands, in accordance with the law, must be carried out. He must be a Shaykh, 50 years of age minimum, and his reign is perpetual unless he is overthrown by the people. He is the commander-in-chief of all Moorish military forces, the palace guard, the police force, and the army and marine forces. 4. Hajib. Hajib, chosen from among the elders to assist the Sultan in his work. The Hajib is in charge of the duty of burial of the deceased and education of the burial society. Presides over the council of elders in the absence of the Sultan. 5. Amir. Amir, leader and chief executive officer of the city-state, elected by the people to implement those programs which are in the best interest of the community. The Amir presides over the executive branches, administration, cabinet, Dali Aziz. The position is perpetual unless there is a recall referendum by the people. He is the commander of the conventional external forces, army and marine. 6. Sayaraha. Sayaraha, pilot or helmsman who is chosen to direct the Hujratul Buruj, or astrological chamber. A. The Qazi and Amir are senior officers. B. The Hajib and Sayaraha are assistant officers. C. The Sutra, the Sharif, and the Rais are junior officers. 7. Qazi. Qazi, Supreme Justice or Chief Magistrate of the community, primary abholder of the law, and executor of the policy of the Sultan and the Grand Council. The Qazi adjudicates matters concerning the affairs of the people. The Qazi is elected by the people and can only be removed by the Sultan or the Grand Council if found to be corrupt. The Qazi is the commander of the Mushraf, police force, or internal security. 8. Wazir al-Rais. Wazir al-Rais, the coordinator of administration over various ministries within the city-state. Chief counsel to the Amir and executive officer of the conventional military forces. The Rais serves for the duration of the Amir's tenure. 9. Sutra. Sutra is the sergeant-at-arms of the Majlis, Parliament. He bears the duty of protecting the Sultan and the Council of Elders, as well as flags, talismans, and all vestments of power. He is the executive officer of a select company of Mufti, chosen to function as the Hujratul Harisan, chamber guardians. 10. Sharif. Sharif, executive officer of the Mushraf, police, and head Mufti of the training academy. He carries out the decisions of the Qazi, has investigative powers, and is responsible for the general public safety. 11. Rasm. Rasm, recorder, keeper. 12. Mufti. Mufti, man-at-arms, who functions as a Hujrat al-Harisan, palace guard, or as a Mushraf, policeman, or as an Ashkari, soldier. 13. Wazir. Wazir, head of each ministry, and thus regulates such functions as records, treasury, education, health and human services, transportation, culture, communications, etc. They are appointed by the Amir and serve at his disposition according to the law. They are supervised by the Wazir al-Rais. 14. Wali. Wali researches, advises, or coordinates a specific project for one of the departments of government, appointed to their posts by a lower officer. Article 5. Azawiya Likayasitum. Angle with measurement. The angle with measurement describes that form of government entailing the combining of initiate officers with adept officers, uniting to form the Moorish government. By adept, we mean those well-versed in spiritual science, tasawwuf, and the science of government. By initiate, we mean those beginners on the path of spiritual science and the science of government. The three ascendant forces combining with the three descendant forces, or in masonry, the uniting of the mortar and the stone. Using the sextant, it describes the graduation of degrees on the arc circle into sixths, thus sextant. We shall demonstrate this principle by designing it into a sextant. However, it is best demonstrated on the ex-halfa, six-pointed star. Our Moorish lawgiver says that the ex-halfa is the insignia of the Moorish nation, which, when applied, equals the activation of your Moorish constitution and talismans. See the figures shown. Article 6. Transliteration of Roles, Section B. Majlis, Parliament. Majlis, Parliament, lower chamber of the legislature, where all measures are initiated, discussed, and prepared, then forwarded to the upper chamber of the legislature for approval. The Majlis is the voice of the citizen, and members on it bear the rank of Wali, advisor. It has the special function of administration over the Hujratul Buruj, or astrological chamber, and the Dar'ul Kutub, or library. The Sutra is the sergeant-at-arms at the Parliament, Majlis. The Sayaraha, or pilot, is the director of the Hujratul Buruj. Tijema. Tijema, Council of Notables, or Elders. Senior upper chamber of the legislature. Its role is that of ratification of all measures prepared in the lower chamber before they are sent on to the Dalil Aziz, Great Council, or Executive Cabinet for implementation. Its function is that of keeper of the sacred relics, and has the power of making the decision to remove a senior officer. Lastly, it has the privileged duty of janazah, burial, of the deceased. The Sultan presides over the Council of Elders. An elder must be a shaykh, 50 years of age minimum in order to sit upon this council. Dal al-Wazirat, House of Ministries, lower executive branch of government that puts all policy passed by the legislature and approved by the Executive Council into operation. This department includes the Baitul Mal, Treasury, Wazir Asir, Ministry of Records, Dal-ul Arab, University, and the Wazir Az-Zar, Ministry of the Mint, and all other ministries necessary for government to function. Dalil Aziz, Great Council, the great proof of the Great Council, Upper Executive Council that decrees policy once it is drafted and approved by the legislature. It is composed of the Sultan, the Hajib, the Sayaraha, the Sutra, the Amir, the Wazir al-Rais, the Qazi, and the Sharif. This body has input from every branch of government. It has the function of confirmation of appointments, ratification of treaties with all outside elements, and is the key government agency. The Amir presides over this body. Darul Adl, House of Justice, judicial branch of government that is composed of the Qaza, court, and the Hujratul Fuqaha, or chamber of jurists, who have investigative powers and assist the Qazi. The Qazi presides over this agency and is the commander of the Mushraf, police. Dar al-Mufti, House of Mufti, the training academy for the Hujratul Harisun, palace guard, Mushraf, police, or Ashkari, soldiers. The Sharif is the head Mufti and executive officer of this department. The Moorish nation, Al-Wilayatun min al-Makribiyun, the nation of the Moors. Makribiyun, the western or setting sun, changing from light to darkness, thus representing the description of the Moors, encompassing the entire spectrum. The sun traverses or navigates the sky. A Sun of 1947. Signed B.A.M.L. Moorish Cardinal Principles: Hibu, love; Haq, truth; Salam, peace; Hurriyatun, freedom; Adl, justice. The following signs and symbols are representatives of the seals used to identify the official rank in the Moorish government. See the figures shown. End of the Moorish Rudder and Sextant. Read by Hakeem Bey. HakeemBey.com.